Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk. This is just like a quick little updated thing on the AXEL terminal that we did a video on recently. One of my viewers that actually watched that video was quite familiar with these, and he's actually showed me how to get into the setup on it. So I thought we'd just have a quick look at the setup functions and everything on it. And it's a bit nicer than I initially thought it was. It has got a lot more possibilities for possible users anyway. So I'll set you up on the screen there, and we'll have a quick look at the setup. And then I've actually got another terminal that I've just come across while I was looking for some other things. It was something I bought. I weren't intending to buy. It was a lot of parts that I was getting, and this was just happened to be one of the bits in there. But I thought after we've had a quick look at this, I might just throw that up on the table here, and we'll connect that up because it uses VGA, and see what that does as well, and we can have a quick look at that. So first off though, the little AXEL here, let me get you over onto the screen. Big thanks to the viewer that pointed this out, but it's dead easy actually to get into the setup on this. Let's just switch the monitor on. And we'll switch the little terminal on. Oh, hang on, I just remembered something. I pinched the VGA before because I was using my bridge PC, so let's just switch that off again. I'll just have to re-pinch the VGA out of the back of the bridge PC. Come on, out you come. There we go. Let's just steal the VGA back out of that. We'll plug that in there like that. Okay, perfect. And now if I switch on, there we go. This is what we was getting last time. Let me get you zoomed in a little bit, so you can see exactly as we was last time. We've got the AXEL Plantain terminal, and then it's instantly trying to boot into boot from a server. But if we press Control Alt and Escape, there we go, we're actually into the setup program for it, and it's quite nice really for what this thing is. Got TCP/IP set up, the interfaces, terminal blues. This is yeah, we've got general. Really, we can set everything everything we need up here. Ports, now this is what I found quite nice. Ports, auxiliary ports. Now I thought this just had a parallel port on it, and I was actually wrong. AUX1, we've got AUX1 and AUX2, and they're actually serial ports. They're bidirectional serial ports. Obviously that's obviously been set up for use with a printer, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. You can, you know, it looks really quite configurable. Essentially what it is, they two little ports on the back that I thought were like secondary network ports. They're not. They're two COM ports. So we've got a COM1, a COM2 and a parallel on there, which is quite nice. TCP/IP. I have a feeling this can do a lot more than I initially thought it could do. Can even set it up. So proceed through quick setup. Let you re-enter parameters for basic operation and set all other parameters back to factory of defaults, which is probably the best thing we could really do with this thing. So pressing continue will lose all current settings. Do you want to continue? Yes. Screen type, keyboard, what change? See if we can change that. Can we actually change any of this now? Well, not that it really matters all that much. text emulations. This is quite interesting. I think these are old network terminal protocols. IBM 5250, IBM 3270. Yeah, we can really set this up quite nicely. We've got even diagnostics. So if I get this connected up to a network, excuse me, I should be able to test that it's working by being able to ping it. I'm not really well versed in these things, I'll say that straight away. It's a very long time since I messed with any kind of like terminal stuff. I have played with a little bit of terminal stuff a long time ago, and there is a really cool device I've been looking at. It's a component analyzer for 7400 series logic, and it actually uses a terminal as its interface. I'm wondering if I could perhaps use this for something like that. You don't need to use a terminal, you can use an old PC, anything that's got a that could basically be set up as a terminal. But it also looks like you can update the firmware using this as well, by basically setting the IP address, the file that you want to download onto it, and actually flashing the firmware that way. I don't know whether anyone's built any alternative firmwares for this hardware or not, but it does look like this is the way you actually can update the system. Like I said, I couldn't see anything on the actual motherboard that would be like a programming header or anything, so it looks like it is all done through the network. So anyway, like I said, that was I just wanted to show people that I had actually. Oh, there we go. Because I've reset it. This is actually how we've. So we can have up to 6 sessions running. Telnet sessions. So if I hit F2, does that go straight into Telnet? Alt F2. As you can see, I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just having a quick play. Yeah, this is TCP port. I really need to know more about how modern terminals work, because it's like I said, it's a very long time since I did anything involving them. But yeah, it does seem to actually do more than I initially thought it would. I'm quite pleased with that, especially with the fact that it's got RS-232 on there. It might actually make it, to some extent, useful for something. What I've also got, I'll get you zoomed out a little bit. I've got this. Let's get that switched off. This is what I found while I was having another hunt for some junk. What we've got here, this is basically an older version of some kind of the same kind of thing. This is a IBM Infowindow II. Essentially what this is, very much like that unit there. Just get you down a little bit. It's basically a dumb terminal. Like you would find in the 1980s, that would be connected up to a mainframe. The only difference being, this is from the early 90s. This is from about 1993, and it uses a standard IBM PS2 style monitor for the display, and it would use a standard PS2 style keyboard for the actual keyboard. Apart from that, essentially, it is just a dumb terminal. Like I said, the only difference being it uses IBM VJ monitor and an IBM PS2 keyboard. Now, I can't remember whether this works or not. Like I said, I got it in a lot of other parts that I picked up, and this wasn't anything I was really looking at, it was some other parts in the same lot that I wanted, and I just basically ended up with this. It is not in good condition. It's obviously been stored somewhere rather damp in its past. Look on the back of it, there is some quite horrendous corrosion on the back here. Like I said, I cannot remember whether it actually powers up or not. I have a feeling I did try it, and I have a feeling it did actually fire up and work. So what I think we'll do, we'll get the AXEL one out of the way. I'll put that to one side because I don't know what that's fate's going to be yet. I still, like I said, I do like the case to perhaps repurpose for something else, but being the fact that it is a little bit more useful, I'm going to keep it for a bit more experimentation. When I've got a little bit of time, I'm going to actually perhaps see if I can get the user manual for it, most importantly, so I can actually figure out what I'm doing with it and see if I can actually perhaps get it to work on something. I know it does. I did find a basic PDF for this online when I was having a look the other day, and it showed it connecting up to a Windows server, and it could, it can be used as a graphical interface for a computer running some of the Windows Server versions. Anyway, I'll put that away to one side for now, and we will have a look. I'll get that power out of the way there, and we will have a look. We'll see if we can get this to fire up. So I have a feeling I tried it, and it's a long time ago. That's the only problem, and it is incredibly crusty on the back. It's not in good condition, this, but might be worth having a bit of a play with, see what it'll do. This is of course where there could be a bit of a flash and a bang. Power up it. Let's plug the keyboard into it and we'll see if it does anything. It could emit the magic smoke. In fact, I'm not sure there's going to be a Reefer brand capacitor in this, so it really could let out the magic smoke. Contact. Or it could be as dead as a can of Spam. Yeah, that's not. I did think this did do something, but obviously not. We're not even getting a light coming on there. Unplug the. Let's give the power connector a wiggle, because it did look a bit manky. One last try. No. So this is pretty dead. So let's take it apart. We'll get the power out of it. Disconnect the VGA. In fact, it'll be interesting. There's this is from 1993, and the AXEL one's from 2007. So it'll be really interesting actually to see the difference in component level, because as you saw with the AXEL, there is actually very little in there. Everything's really integrated into basically one maiden chip with just a few supporting ICs around it. Now, one thing, this doesn't have anywhere near the processing power of that AXEL one. But age-wise, there we are, we're in. Right. Let us see. You can see how rusty and crusty this thing is. So it's not in A1 condition. Here we are. Right. That's kind of cool actually. Comes into a backup battery there. Let me get you down and perhaps zoomed in a little bit so we can have a little bit of a closer look. mean, size of the board wise, it's actually very, very similar size wise to what we've got in the AXEL. A big quad pack, flat pack in the centre there. I guess that is pretty much containing most of the logic. Actually, this is very, very similar considering of the age difference between the two. Let me get my glasses so I can see a little bit better. Yeah, we've got very much a very similar kind of thing, really. In fact, it's a little bit more marked up here. So we've got the ROM here. Got a sharp part there, which is the ROM. Is that a V20? We seem to have an NEC V20. That's a processor, isn't it? That's a CPU. That's a I'm pretty sure V20. Is that not a 8086 based CPU? That's interesting. We've got some SRAM here. We've got 2 lots of SRAM there. Unlike that AXEL thing, actually everything on this IBM board, well, a lot of the things on this IBM board are actually marked up what they are. Okay, so we've got some SRAM here, we've got some more SRAM there. So that's marked up as NEC V20 PLCC. So like I say, is that a 8086 based CPU? I weren't expecting to find anything quite like that in here. And then we've got some DRAM down here. So we've got SRAM up here, and we've got some DRAM down here. It's a shame I can't get it to power up actually. The power connector is a bit, let's see. Don't feel like there's anything rattling around. Let me give it one last try. In fact, what I need to do, see if I can just clean some of them pins, because the pins on that power connector are looking in a shocking state. I wonder if I just give them a little bit of a scrape with a file. Whether I can possibly... Then again, if you look at the state of the VGA connector on it, like so this thing's been kept somewhere really, really dank and damp for a long time. There's a lot of corrosion around the VGA connector there. It could be that was causing the issue. These connectors also are in a shocking state, but we didn't even get anything on the LED on the front of the power supply, so could it just be that it literally was not getting Right, interesting. The power supply, according to this, outputs 5 volts at 1.2 amps and minus 5 volts at 0.01 of an amp. That's it. There's no other supply lines according to this. So I wonder what needs the minus 5 volts. Give these a quick scrape, just see if we can it could just possibly be that these are horrendously furred up and they're just not making enough of a contact to work. There we go, let's give that a try. Plug that back in. I will just make sure that the other end is... Yeah, this is where I decide I'm a flaming idiot. I haven't plugged the other end of that cable in, I unplugged it to plug the AXEL one in. Just bear with us a second, folks. Right, let's give that a try. Well, that powered up. The LED's on now. Right, let's try connecting it. Connect some VJ up to it. Where's my keyboard? With the state of the corrosion on that VGA connector, I cannot see us actually getting a VGA signal out of it, but let's give it a try. No, don't look like it. Oh, hang on. Oops. There we are. Wow. Let's see if I can get that to reset. I'll have to perhaps switch it off and back on. .640 by 4. There we go. We've got something up then. Again, I don't know if there's a setup menu or anything to actually get in here. I can't figure. That's even if it will work with this keyboard. I could even not have a... In fact, I'm not getting any lighting up on the keyboard. So I wonder either that is dodgy there and it's not connecting, or in fact that's not a keyboard connector. It doesn't say on the PCB actually. So I'm not 100% sure whether that's the correct way you connect a keyboard to this thing. I was pretty sure these things were designed to use a standard PS2 style keyboard. It certainly works with a standard VGA monitor. And I think it might have died. I'll try and plug in that. You know, it's only powered up when I've actually disconnected the keyboard, so I need to figure out what actual keyboard this thing's meant to need. Unfortunately, there's no real mention anywhere. See, I had a 10. Alright, okay. Now I've not got a keyboard connected, it seems to be coming up with some kind of keyboard error. Let's switch off. Let's plug that back in. Let's try switching back on again. Ah, the keyboard's working now. So obviously that keyboard connector, it is correct, it's just that it's really flaky. I can't actually get the keyboard to do anything. We should be able to get into some form of setup to configure it like we could do with the AXEL, but I'm not sure what keyboard combination you need to actually do it on this. It's definitely flaky anyway. Yeah, again, it's not powering up again now. Try disconnecting the keyboard again, switch on. Then it powers up. And I was going to probably complain about not having a keyboard connected like I did before, yeah. I'll switch off. Try plugging the keyboard back in. Switch on. It flashed the keyboard light. It comes back up with this, but unfortunately without any more information on the thing, I can't really go that much further with it. I just thought it was another interesting piece of rather obsolete hardware that someone may not have seen for, well, ever seen actually, that IBM made something like this. I'm sure there's some of the old guys out there that were in the industry back in the 80s and 90s that will fondly remember pieces of hardware like this. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. Like I said, this wasn't meant to be a long video or anything, it was just meant to be a little update just to say thanks to the viewer who pointed out how I could get into the setup on that other terminal, and just thought I'd just show this little thing. So I haven't got a clue what I'm going to do with this. It's probably just going to be a bit that ends up as a part of the collection, unless someone's got particularly want, need or use for it, then please get in touch. Anyway, we'll leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed this little update, so thanks for watching and goodbye.